everyone. This is June from Luxitune. Today we're going live with hip-hop violinist Rhett Price from Boston, Massachusetts. It's really exciting because he's the first hip-hop violinist we're having as a guest for the Artists of Luxitune series. I'll give you a little bit of info about him if you don't know. Rhett Price, he's performed everywhere from the subways of Boston to the streets to large concert venues and various live venues. He's also, I believe, collaborated with various artists, so it's really exciting. So thanks for joining. Hi, Rhett. Rhett Price, hip-hop violinist, our very first hip-hop violinist guest on this series. So I'm so excited. From Boston, Massachusetts. You have a very interesting background. You're like not the traditional musician who went from the traditional route. You've like performed on the subway, based on my research.
The only thing traditional about like what I did was I did Suzuki for like a year or two when I was like 4. And that was it. After that, I just took a left turn and just did something really different. But
that's cool. Okay, so fast forward, you had a huge concert just last month, right?
Oh yeah, I had a show. Yeah, well, it was a little bit of a test because we were going on tour in 2020, and every tour on Earth was all canceled, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it was started in March. Good timing. But yeah, so we did 2 shows. They were both sold out and they're like half empty, and we're like, all right, if people sold it out and they're still not coming, like this isn't gonna happen, and then the world shut down. But so we're getting ready. We're like, when do we rebook the tour? Do we book it? I was gonna book it this last fall, and I'm like, that seems a little too early, and it turns out I was right. And then I'm like, I was thinking about this spring. We're actually finishing up booking the dates right now for this year, for this summer. But we did, to test it out and see what we thought about doing shows like this upcoming spring. I decided to do that show in Worcester, Massachusetts, and just see how it goes. And I think people are still, understandably, they were a little nervous to like come out. Normally I feel like it would have been sold out, but people are a little nervous. So it was like a test show, but I think, yeah, by this summer, by the time we do go on the tour, then you'll be able to say that you had a big concert, hopefully they'll be sold out again. But yeah, it was fun though. Hey man, just being able to go like have a show and not be forced to just not be able to perform,
Right. That was huge.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it was huge regardless. So I
wonder, what? If you're talking about a huge show though, you might have been talking about, I played a couple of shows in Texas with a country artist. They were like, it was like 13,000 people. So those were big shows.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was with another artist though. Those aren't my own, but.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you're itching to get back on the road and
God, yeah.
perform.
I couldn't stress that enough. Well, and the thing is, like, when I put together my shows, so I've seen other kind of modern violinists perform. And I mean, I enjoy the show, but I don't enjoy it the way most audience members. I'm like observing and trying to learn. So I sit back and I'm like, what can I learn from this? What did I love the most? Like, what could I kind of borrow from in my show? And a lot of instrumentalists, for some reason, their performance, they feel like, and I don't know if it has to do with that traditional route of growing up playing in orchestras and stuff like that. They feel like they should just stand still and just stand there and play. Or, I don't know, there's just not a lot of production and like entertainment value in the show. So I put a lot of effort into making, especially when I'm going on tour, a lot of effort into making it just like, being more of an entertainer than just a musician.
Gotcha.
So there's a whole process of putting that together, that's really, really fun.
Yeah,
so,
I bet.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see it. I hopefully you guys come towards New York.
Oh, we will. Yeah, we'll be playing Bowery Electric in New York City.
No way. Okay,
yeah.
This summer.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't have the final dates yet. I can't like speak on the dates, but that's the venue for sure. Yeah.
Great. Oh my God, we've got comments already. Someone saying, Rhett gets everyone up and dancing. He's amazing. Such an entertainer.
Hey, what's up, Susan?
That's great. So I actually saw an excerpt of an interview you did, which was really interesting with someone. I think it was a radio show or a podcast, and you kind of gave a little brief history of like you were once in a car, you were living in a car, or no, maybe
I
So
wasn't. A car would have been nice. I was. That would have been a step up. No, I don't know what I was talking about in the interview, but yeah, I was just kind of living wherever. There was a stretch of time where I would sneak into because I dropped out of Berkeley because I didn't have any. I went to Berkeley College of Music in Boston, and I didn't have enough money to like survive. I had lost my job, and Boston rent is not cheap. So
right.
I was. It's like it's not as bad as New York. You know, you don't live in a hallway for $3,000, but it's close enough, you know. But yeah, so I ended up sneaking into Berkeley practice rooms. They didn't back then. They didn't have a. Now they have a key card. You have to swipe to get in. Back then, you could just walk right in. And if you have an instrument on your back, they're just like, "Oh, you're a student," and they don't even look twice. So like, I just walk in, pretend like I'm practicing. You know, I would like. I even got to the point. I really had it going. I had this whole system set up where I would like walk down and just kind of nod at the security guys. Go to the practice rooms. I would go to the drum practice rooms. They had drums and pianos in the basement, and I would go and get into one of those, and then I would like practice for a little while if there's anyone in there so they could hear me, and then I would put my scarf over it. It was like one of those long, like a classroom window, you know, those long thin ones. I would put my scarf over it so they couldn't see inside, and then I would just like you know, curl up and sleep underneath it, but I would have like my violin out so it looked like, oh, I fell asleep practicing or something, just so I like if I got caught, you know. I only got caught once, and the guy's like, you can't be doing this. What are you doing? But yeah, it was crazy.
Crazy. But yeah, you're here now. That's
Yeah, yeah.
quite
Got a roof
amazing.
over my head.
But you have a new song. I saw the video on YouTube.
Oh,
It's really
Muse.
cool.
Yeah, I like
Muse,
that. Yeah.
also Party Animal, right?
Oh, Party Animal. Yeah, you said you saw the video. I thought you were talking about the new. I just put out a music video for my song Muse, so I didn't know if you were talking about that. But yeah, Party
Yes,
Animal. I love
saw
that.
Muse, but I didn't. I saw the ad, the preview for Party
Yeah,
Animal.
Party Animal. Yeah.
So
That might be my favorite original song I've done so far. I really like that one.
how long did it take you to compose it?
This is what's nuts. When I used to watch interviews of artists that are like, you know, like Megan Thee Stallion said that she did Savage in like 10 minutes in the studio, and I'm like, oh, sure you did. But that's how it went for this song for me. I just my producer Eli just showed me a little loop, and it was like the same like 4 chords over and over and over. And so I just dropped it in my computer and just looped it and told him to add drums to it later. And I wrote the song literally in like, it was like 10-15 minutes, and I just called him and was like, I think it's done. It was like confusing for me. That never happened before. I have so many songs that I've worked on for like months, and I'll take a break and come back, and it takes a while for me to like get in the groove. But with that one, it's just, I don't know, it just came so easily.
It just flowed.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's cool. It was meant to be. I love it when that happens. Sometimes it happens when I'm designing too. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, I mean, and those are the best, you know, because I feel like those are the best because you don't think about it too much, you don't overthink, so it's just the essence of your creativity, what you're working on, you know. So those kinds of things always showcase who you are. I feel like the most, which is probably why it's my favorite song. Yeah, it's out now. So the music video is not out, but the song is, and it's all, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that stuff. Party Animal is what it's called.
Awesome. I'll link it. So you have a new violin that looks
I've got it right here.
Pretty smashing.
Mostly because of, you know, I got my little
the bling factor.
Yeah,
the Luxitune.
exactly.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about the violin. I loved how the details are on the edges. Is that like etching or
so that's what it looks like. It's pretty wild. So this violin was made by a guy from it's a Scandinavian country. I always get it wrong. I forget what country, but this guy named Tano Ekinen was his name. And so this is what's cool. So he actually he made it. He entered this international like luthier violin making competition with people from, you know, France and Italy and all over the world. They all flew to the United States and were entering their instruments, and he won the whole thing. It was the best voted best instrument out of the entire competition. And there's like many different layers to the competition. So for him to win it, it was a massive thing. So he wins this with this instrument. He wins it. And then he sells it to this guy, Byron Berline is his name, this guy from Oklahoma. So Byron Berline recorded for the Eagles, for the Rolling Stones, for Bob Dylan and Bill Monroe, and like legends in every genre. This guy recorded for them, and he owned this violin. He bought it from him, and so he owns it for a little while, and then he sells it to my friend Preston, who he toured with all these huge country acts, these massive like internationally known country artists that if you listen to country music you would know him. I'm not the biggest country guy, so I don't know all of them, but right now he's touring with Brothers Osborne, if you know who that is. But anyway, just the history of it and the people that have owned it is nuts. And I played it 10 years ago. My friend Preston was on tour. I was opening, my band that I was playing with was opening for him. And he invited me on stage, was like, hey, here, play a solo on this song, and just hands me this violin. And I'm like, all right. So I grab it, and I'm waiting until I'm about to go on stage, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is the most beautiful violin I've ever seen. And then I go on stage and play it, and I'm like, this sounds like the most beautiful violin I've ever heard. Like, what? And so every time I would text him or talk to him, I'm like, hey, how you doing? You want to give me that violin? And, you know, it was like an ongoing joke for a decade. And then finally this past fall, he's like, hey, do you still want that violin? And so I flew down to DC while he was on tour and picked it up.
Wow.
And now that's all I record with. I haven't released anything that I recorded on it yet, but that's all I'm recording with right now. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a really cool story.
It's crazy. I still can't believe it's mine.
That's awesome. Okay, so we don't have that much time left, but I was wondering if there's anything you'd like to share with us as an excerpt, if you want to play a few notes. Or,
I mean, I could play part of a song. I mean, it's, if you need to cut me off, you can cut me off, but I actually have the beat up right now. I could play part of Party Animal.
Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah. That would be a treat. Thank you.
All right. You can't really do a sound check on IG.
I know.
So,
it's ad hoc.
So we'll find out how it sounds, but this is Party Animal. That work? Sound good?
Yeah.
On for quite a while after that, but just for the sake of time.
That's awesome. Wow, we've got lots of great comments.
But yeah, I just wanted to say seriously, thank you again for sending me this. I'm gonna have to buy one of the skull ones.
That's very you.
Yeah, I've been eyeing that. Right? See, I have like the skull ring too. It'll go with it.
Yeah, we could do a custom one, so it's in the right.
Yeah, right. That'd be so cool.
So, are there any? Do we have time for any questions? Someone asked when are you coming to California?
I'm playing. I think I'm playing. I always get confused between when I play LA and when I play Las Vegas because they're like a quick drive from each other. So I always get in my head like if I'm in Vegas, I'm going to LA because I'm going to end up going to LA anyway while I'm there, you know? So I don't remember. I'm either playing Vegas or LA in May, but definitely on tour. I'll be playing Los Angeles on tour 100% for sure.
This year, everyone, this summer.
And same thing with Boston, everywhere. Now, as far as coming to like Asheville, I just saw that comment. I don't know how far that is from Charlotte or like Nashville or something, but I wouldn't have high hopes for Asheville right now, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I don't want to take more of your time. Thank you so
Well,
much,
thank you for
Rhett.
having me.
It was nice to meet you this
Yeah,
way.
I've been trying for years now to try to come by your like showroom in New York City. So I go to New York pretty often, but it's never worked out quite yet. But we'll make it happen. It'll happen.
We will, for sure.
Yeah,
If maybe it's over coffee.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll do it when we do the custom one. When we do the
Yeah,
custom one.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'll be a good excuse.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Rhett. This is a real treat. Thank you so much.